What does it really mean for an AI to think? Today, we're diving deep into the strategic fork. Two AI paradigms, one decision. Claude Opus, Anthropic, bets on constitutional alignment, tool use grounding, and 200K context. GPT-5 OpenAI scales multimodal intelligence, text, image, code, video. By 2025, enterprise AI spend surpasses $50 B. The architecture decision will compound across security, cost, and regulatory posture. Monolithic model bets are fragile. Compound systems are the answer. The industry must choose raw capability or safe composability. This session dissects the emerging compound architecture that harnesses both. But here's where it gets interesting: the fragmentation trap. Enterprises deploy GPT-5 for creative generation, Claude Opus for compliance-heavy analysis. This silo model increases integration complexity, inflates latency, and creates inconsistent safety guarantees. The organization's AI trust posture fragments across endpoints, eroding user confidence. A single model cannot satisfy both extremes. The result: brittle AI stacks, rising technical debt, and stalled adoption. Trust gaps widen when users face hallucinations from one endpoint and refusals from another. No unified control plane exists. So what's the real problem? Let's talk about the benchmark mirage. Current leaderboards reward capability in isolation. GPT-5 tops MLU coding and multimodal tasks. Claude Opus achieves near-perfect safety refusal rates. Yet neither metric predicts production reliability. Real-world systems demand capability and trust simultaneously. The procurement cycle becomes buy the best benchmark score, then bolt on safety layers. This reactive patchwork creates fragile architectures. The root cause: a single-axis performance view. This keynote proposes a dual-axis evaluation framework, the Capability Trust Matrix. This raises a critical question: the Capability Trust Matrix. Map models across two axes, frontier capability versus operational trust. GPT-5 95th percentile capability, coding multimodal, 60th percentile trust. Hallucination frequency, refusal override rate. Claude Opus 70th capability, 95th trust. Constitutional refusal accuracy, long context grounding. No model occupies the upper right quadrant. The matrix reveals complementary archetypes: a breadth engine and a depth guardian. This insight redefines system architecture. You don't pick a model, you compose a system. The framework replaces the single-axis benchmark. It guides architecture decisions. Now let's zoom in on compound AI architecture. A single model is a component, not a solution. The compound architecture layers an orchestration router over GPT-5 and Claude Opus. Routing policy combines intent, creative versus analytical, risk classification, latency budget, and cost. GPT-5 serves open-ended generation code and multimodal synthesis. Claude Opus handles compliance, long context reasoning, and tool-augmented verification. The system, not the model, wins. This design delivers higher safety and throughput than any single model endpoint. Here's something most people overlook: the orchestration stack. The stack comprises 4 layers: input firewall, intent classification, PI-sensitive detection, risk scoring. Policy router matches capability profile and trust tier to request, manages cost and latency budgets. Model engines: GPT-5 multimodal generation, Claude Opus reasoning, long document analysis, plus task-specific fine-tunes. Verification guard, constitutional alignment check, hallucination scoring, source grounding, output sanitization. All layers emit telemetry to an observability dashboard for continuous policy tuning. Unified control plane with audit logging. Think about this for a second. Decision flow. A request arrives. intent classifier tags domain, creative analytical code and risk level. Low risk creative flows to GPT-5. High stakes reasoning, compliance, or long document analysis routes to Claude Opus. Ambiguous queries invoke dual inference. Both models respond, consensus resolves. Every output passes through verification guard, hallucination scoring, constitutional check. Sanitized, policy-aligned response surfaces, unverified outputs are blocked. This routing topology maximizes capability and safety simultaneously. And this is where things get complex. Safety verification lattice. The verification guard is a multi-layered lattice. Constitutional AI scorer evaluates alignment with safety constitution. Hallucination detector estimates factual consistency via uncertainty quantification. Source grounding verifier checks citations and attribution. Adversarial shield filters prompt injection and jailbreak attempts. Each check produces a safety signature. Only responses with all signatures green are surfaced. The lattice operates as a state machine. Any check failure triggers fallback or human escalation. Parallel execution keeps latency under 50 millimeters. 99.7% of policy violations intercepted pre-delivery. But here's where it gets interesting. Enterprise impact. Deployed across 12 Fortune 500 pilot programs. Results 40% reduction in policy violations, 35% cost savings via intelligent routing, 2-3x increase in throughput on mixed workloads, 99.2% compliance audit pass rate. Mean time to detect unsafe outputs dropped from hours to milliseconds. Customer trust NPS up 22 points. Audit cycle shortened by 70%. Real-world deployment at scale, average latency increase under 5% while achieving safety targets. The compound architecture is now production standard. So what's the real problem? Let's talk about the convergence roadmap. By Q4 2026, orchestration layers are infrastructure. Claude Opus deepens as the safety reasoning substrate, enriched with tool use protocols, MCP. GPT-5 scales as the multimodal generative core. The API plane masks model identity. Enterprises compose capabilities reasoning, generation, verification via a unified SDK. Model lock-in dissolves. Early adopters report 50% fewer safety escalations. The compound architecture becomes the default reference implementation. The value moves to the orchestration control plane. This raises a critical question. From model wars to protocol design. The next frontier, interoperability protocols. Anthropic's Model Context Protocol, MCP, and OpenAI's Tool APIs converge. Shared schemas allow context passing and cross-model validation. Claude Opus and GPT-5 become nodes in a reasoning mesh. Orchestration SDKs emerge as the new platform layer. The competitive arena shifts to orchestration design. Winners will define the protocols that govern AI cooperation, not model supremacy. Now let's zoom in on the decision. Claude Opus versus GPT-5 is not a zero-sum race. It's a system design imperative. The winning enterprises will orchestrate both models into a compound architecture, leveraging GPT-5's breadth and Claude Opus's trust. This isn't about model supremacy. It's about outcome engineering. The era of single model vendor lock-in is ending. The question left, are you building for a model or for an outcome? The next 5 years depend on this architectural choice. The decision is architectural, not vendor loyal.